Digenova exposes more dirty tricks Mueller is using on Manafort to oust Trump, by US4Trump.com. Former U.S. Attorney Joe Digenova put Mueller's team on blast mode. Joe completely denounces the interim prosecution style Mueller and all are using to squeeze Manafort, in a scathing rebuke for the Mueller team's tactics. Digenova has so many zingers, it's difficult to decide which one hits home best. Tucker is equally appalled and tells us the three takeaways from the trial so far. Tucker tells his viewers that the Mueller team has painted Manafort's lavish lifestyle. Additionally, Manafort has maintained overseas accounts and lied about his income on loan applications. This is a country of laws. However, Tucker makes an excellent point and says this is all to bolster their case that Manafort deserves more prison time than most murderers. 305 years is what the prosecution thinks Manafort deserves for tax evasion. Tucker then brings in Joe Digenova. Swiftly, Digenova describes the legal term for what we have been witnessing: an interim prosecution, the use of terror legal tactics to destroy a human being, to try and force him to cooperate when he has nothing to cooperate with, he tells us. And what the special counsel has done, Mr. Mueller, is he has chosen his Jack the Ripper-like leader, Andrew Weissman, to use the type of tactics that are properly reserved for mafia gangs, for terrorists, Joe tells Tucker. Furthermore, Digenova continues, they have converted Paul Manafort into this ugly creature. Joe says this is one of the most unfortunate moments in the history of the FBI and Department of Justice. This case is the Rosemary's Baby of Rod Rosenstein, who forced this prosecution, then permitted the abusive tactics which occurred during the investigation and which are occurring in this trial, agreed to by the FBI Director Chris Wray, the U.S. Attorney says. Joe says, and of course, the Attorney General is asleep. Somnambulant, okay, sleepwalking. Yeah, because I had no idea first time I saw that word. As this horrific embarrassment to the department continues in the Eastern District of Virginia. You know, when he's speaking to people, he should use layman terms so people can understand what the hell he's saying, you know? We have the definition here, but other people while watching don't have the definition and don't even remember what he said. This is a disgusting display of prosecutorial abuse for which the Attorney General and his deputy should be ashamed, he says. Finally, in ending, Tucker cites that 1.3 months is the average sentence for tax evasion and not 305 years. Yeah, in closing, so why 305 years for Manafort? Why do you suppose his sentence is so stiff? You know, I mean, come on now, really?
Well, the trial of former Donald Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort completed its third day today. Prosecutors brought out evidence that Manafort lived a luxurious lifestyle, bought suits they suggested were too expensive for one man to buy, maintained overseas accounts, and then lied about his income on loan applications. This was all to bolster their case that Paul Manafort deserves more prison time than most murderers. More than once during the trial, the judge, T.S. Ellis III, blasted prosecutors for simply shaming Manafort without offering any actual evidence of criminal behavior. Joe Digenova is a former U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, and he joins us tonight. Joe, thanks a lot for coming on. I never thought that I would defend Paul Manafort, who I've always thought was a little on the sleazy side, but I think it's worth defending the principle of evenly and fairly applied justice.
Correct.
And it's not a crime to buy expensive suits. And
No.
you shouldn't get 300 years in prison for tax evasion, right?
You're absolutely right, Tucker. What you are watching is what is called in the Justice Department an in terrorem prosecution, the use of terror legal tactics to destroy a human being, to try and force him to cooperate when he has nothing to cooperate with.
Right.
And what the special counsel has done, Mr. Mueller, is he has chosen his Jack the Ripper-like leader, Andrew Weissman, to use the type of tactics that are properly reserved for mafia gangs, for terrorists, and they have converted Paul Manafort into this ugly creature. This is one of the most unfortunate moments in the history of the FBI and the Department of Justice. This case is the Rosemary's Baby of Rod Rosenstein, who forced this prosecution, permitted the abusive tactics which occurred during the investigation and which are occurring in this trial, agreed to by the FBI Director Chris Wray, and of course, the Attorney General is asleep, somnambulant, as this horrific embarrassment to the department continues in the Eastern District of Virginia. This is a disgusting display of prosecutorial abuse for which the Attorney General and his deputy should be ashamed.
Is there anybody that you know personally who with a straight face say, yeah, 305 years in prison seems like an appropriate punishment for tax evasion? Is there anybody who would say that? No is the answer. So how can they charge him with crimes that sentences so clearly disproportionate to the crime?
Because the Deputy Attorney General, Mr. Rosenstein, has given Mr. Mueller full authority to do whatever he wants. And because the ultimate goal here is to, quote, get something on President Trump, they've decided to ruin Paul Manafort, who has no criminal record, whatever you may think of his political leanings and his tactics over the years, or who his overseas clients were. He does not deserve this. The Attorney General knows that. The Deputy Attorney General knows that. But you know what? They don't care, because they know that Mueller wants to get Trump. That's what this is about. There's nothing for Manafort to flip on, for heaven's sakes. So what you are watching is a bizarre mistreatment of a human being. This is a case that should get 1 to 3 years at most. But Mueller and Weissman and all the people in the department just can't give it up.
1.3 years, a year and 3 months, rather. That's the average sentence for tax fraud in this country. It's unbelievable. Joe Digenova, thank you for that perspective. This is your world, and we appreciate it.
He did explain what that word was, but Jeff Sessions is sleepwalking on this, so Rosenstein and Wray are in it, okay? And they're giving Manafort, this is actually, a lot of people may not care about Manafort, but it's beyond, it's the point of what somebody like a regular person, we're not saying that Manafort's an angel, no. But at the same time, they can go after, it's a disgrace that they can go after somebody. You don't have information on Trump, and they're nailing you to the wall with 305 years. I mean, what can you imagine going through something as frightening as that? I mean, it just doesn't make sense at all. And Mueller's a bigger criminal by delivering the uranium. That's why, again, they want to detract, and they're letting this sham of a hoax go on continuously when they could end this whole thing. And, I'd say I'd screw Mueller and just pardon Manafort and Flynn and everything and let them all go nuts. And I wouldn't care less if I was Donald Trump. I wouldn't care. I'd call out the military if I saw problems. And how do you like that, I would say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.